everyone, it's Nicole and I'm here with another layout. This is from the crop that I went back to on October 2021, and where I brought 48 page kits and I ended up doing 42 layouts. And this one here took me 10 minutes to make. So I wanted to show you where this was exactly 10 minutes. I thought, you know what, that's about the length of the layouts that I do normally. So I want to show you that when I say I do a layout in 10 minutes, it's not that I am, going as fast as I can. I'm going at a pretty, decent speed right now. I'm not going super fast. I'm just, um, putting down the photo on the cardstock, and then I'm going to cut it out. And I probably spent maybe 10 minutes before I started the recording to cut out my digital files. Whenever I make page kits, some page kits I make it so that I use only our digital files. And then a lot of our page kits I use some digital files because I like to use digital files as my foundation for my clusters, because the main thing that I find is, I love all the die cuts, all the different things out there. But what I find is whenever you open a package of die cut or stickers or whatever the case may be, a lot of it are finishers. And what I mean by that is it kind of finishes off your cluster. And I find that I like to have elements in my clusters that finishes off the cluster. When I look back at my, layouts that I did years ago, and, I really like the layout. But when I look at the clusters, I'm like, man, when I look at the clusters, I find that things are kind of floating. They don't have anything where it's kind of grounded to. And that's where I like the 2-inch circles, the viewfinders, the squares, the large viewfinders. Like in this case of this layout, I used our large viewfinders. It's not only a great place to start an embellishment cluster, I just really like how it looks when you add a photo to it. Like in this case, I'm going to put that big, turquoise viewfinder. And then I always like to, when I use the big viewfinders like that, I like to use a sheet of pattern paper or cardstock or whatever the case may be, sort of coming out from behind the viewfinder. And I find that that really grounds that big viewfinder, and then I overlay a photo, and then it's a great foundation for the photo. Then from there, I grab the other elements. So I like using, 2-inch circles, and then some of our labels. And in this case, I even had some of our fluffy owls. And I'm going to start building the clusters that way. Now our I use 3 frames right here, but they come on a sheet and there's 4 all together. And I've gotten into the habit where I cut 3 of them in a row, and it's the perfect place to, 1, do some journaling, but 2, also start an embellishment cluster. And another thing is I don't do the shuffle. As soon as I know what I'm going to do, I glue it down. I don't move stuff around and move stuff around. I just start gluing down, and I found that that has saved me a lot of time, because I would put the whole layout together. So I would put where the pattern papers are going to go, and then I'd start building the embellishment clusters, and then I would realize, oh man, I have to basically deconstruct my whole layout, so I have to glue it all over again. Now, as soon as I know, okay, this is what I want to do for my base, like the background, I glue it down right away. And then when I start playing with the embellishment clusters, then it's like the base is already glued down. So then I start gluing on top of that. And that's how I've taken, you know, layouts that used to take me hours to do to minutes, like literally 10 minutes to do, is by one, making page kits, two, having, you know, the titles and everything ready, including the journal in my page kits, three, having stuff in my page kits that help with building a cluster, like the 2-inch circles, the labels, and then you can finish off your clusters with different finishers. And you can use different things to do your foundation too. Like you don't always have to use viewfinders and circles. We also have tags and squares, and the frames that we have there. Those are all great for your embellishment foundations. I think I'm on 4. 4 is not to do the shuffle. So commit. Just do it. You know, once you know what, you know, go with your gut. If you like it, just stick it. So as I'm finishing off the layout, you know, I'm kind of looking at what else I have in the page kit that I maybe would use. I kind of like that strip. That was actually a branding strip, and I thought about using it. But if I would have had 2, I probably would have used it. But I found that I couldn't use it on that pattern paper on the top and the bottom, and that's why I decided not to use it. So while I'm finishing that off and I'm kind of figuring out where I'm going to do that 3rd cluster, and I want to mention this. I always start clusters, like in this case, it was with that big viewfinder. Now I could have went at the top of the viewfinder or at the bottom. I decided at the bottom, and then I always seem to gravitate going with my journaling. So with the 3 frames, and then you do that triangle, and I could have went at the top of the viewfinder, but then I was like, that's kind of close, so that's why I decided to go at the right of the layout, and that's where I'm going to do that 3rd cluster. So while I'm finishing that and putting my title, I just want to let you know that I kind of changed the date for the virtual crop. It's not going to be on May 14th because it snuck up on me. I couldn't believe that it was just a couple of weekends away. So it's going to be on June 3rd and 4th, and it's on sale right now. So it's $10. There's going to be 10 challenges and 10 hours of scrapping. So if you're interested, it's in the description link down below, or you can go to NicoleJones911.com, go to shop and classes and virtual crop, and make sure that you choose June 3rd and 4th, 2022. And once you purchase the class, you'll get you get one thing. You'll get a welcome PDF, and in that welcome PDF, you'll get a link to the Facebook group, and then you're going to get a coupon code for 2 free digital files. So for the rest of the video, I thought it'd be fun just to tell you a little bit about the pictures. So this is Mount Bailey that we climbed, and it was myself, my husband, and Katie, my stepdad, and Mason. So there was 5 of us, and we climbed it pretty fast. So when we got at the top of the mountain, it was absolutely beautiful. And then we brought some things to eat because we needed, you know, not a big meal, but basically snacks like nuts and granola bars, and of course water, crackers, you know, all kinds of good things. And Mason was so tired, and he was just like, oh, I'm just so tired. I just can't even eat. And him and my daughter Katie, she was like, okay, well, how about if I feed you, and then once you get enough energy, then you can feed me. So I have quite a few pictures, and he thought that was hilarious. And then all of a sudden he had a little bit more energy because it was kind of a game, right? So then she fed him for a bit and gave him stuff to drink, and then once she was done, then he spent, you know, a few minutes feeding her. So that is the story that I'm going to tell with this layout, and that's why the title is also Feed Me. So again, if you're interested in the virtual crop, please join us. It's a lot of fun, and I would truly appreciate it. And everything is filmed, so if you can't join for the whole 10 hours, you can certainly watch it after the fact. And I want to thank you so much for watching. Bye.